Hi Paper Crafters, this is Robin from Robin's Creative Cottage, and I'm really excited to share with you today a brand new metal die set from My Craft Spot. I get the opportunity to be on the design team at My Craft Spot, and also I have the opportunity to design the metal dies as well as a few of the stamp sets. This is the Jar Basics metal die set. It's a set of 5 images, and it coordinates perfectly with the Jar Basics stamp set. I've also designed 2 stamp sets that go with the metal dies and the Jar Basics stamp set also. This is the Jar Full of Halloween, and we also have the Jar Full of Fall stamp set. I wanted to show you how I use these metal dies. They're really fun and really easy to use. All you need are metal dies and a die cutting machine, whether it be a Cuttlebug or a Big Shot. Whatever machine you have for die cutting will work great. There's 2 ways actually to use these metal dies, so you'll choose which way you prefer. You can either die cut your image first, or you can stamp it first and then cut it out with the metal die. Now if you die cut it first, what you'll want to do is you'll get your stamp inked up and ready to place on your image. Then go ahead and stamp it on your die cut image, and I usually need to lean way over so I can line it up just right, and you'll see my head in the picture there. So press firmly and then go ahead and just pick it up, and there you have your image stamped on your jar. Now my favorite way to use the metal dies are to stamp your image first, and then what you'll do is you'll go ahead and just lay it right over your stamped image, and you can see the black area just inside the metal die, and you line it up just right. And then I just take a piece of use a piece of masking tape or a piece of washi tape, that's what I have here, and just lay it on there just so that the metal die stays in place. And now you're ready to run it through your die cutting machine. So let's go over this one more time with all of the images that we have for the metal dies. What I like to do with my rubber images is lay them upside down on my piece of cardstock. It's kind of flexible, so if I lay it upside down directly on the table and then take my block, my clear block, and push it right onto my stamp, then my stamp is going to be the correct shape, and it's not going to get out of shape. It's going to be just right and ready to stamp. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and ink them all up, and I like to use the Memento Tuxedo Black ink. Depending on the size of my image, depends on whether I take the ink pad directly to my stamp or whether I take my stamp right onto my ink pad. The smaller ones I just tap on top of the ink pad without lifting the ink pad up. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp all of my images on my white piece of cardstock. I now have all my images stamped, and I'm just going to give a quick trim around them just so they'll be able to fit through my Cuttlebug machine. Now let's add the metal dies to the other images that have already been stamped. So again, the same idea as I showed before, you're just going to lay the metal die right on top of your stamped images and just look for a little bit of a black edge. And then I use just a piece of washi tape just to secure the metal die while it's going through my die cutting machine. Now I don't want to forget about cutting out our little tag, so there's a little edge right here. I'm just going to lay it down and add a piece of washi tape and hold it in place while I run it through the Cuttlebug machine. My die cutting machine happens to be a Cuttlebug, so I go ahead, and the sandwich that I'm going to make is I lay the A plate down and then the B plate, and then I lay down my cardstock, which has my metal die, and then the next layer I add is my C plate. And that's what I use to run through my Cuttlebug machine, and it cuts the dies perfectly. These dies make that perfect little fussy cut, so you don't have to cut them out by hand. The dies do it all for you, and it gives you a perfect cut every time. Now I'll go ahead and finish cutting out the other images. Quick and easy. And here's all 5 images that we cut out using the Jar Basics metal dies. And that's how you use them, quick and easy. They're great and handy, and you'll really have fun with them. Here's a few projects I made using the Jar Basics metal dies. This is the brand new Ornate Label metal die and works just like the Jar Basics metal die with the open window. And here's a project that I made using the Ornate Label metal die. Thanks for visiting today. Remember to head over to my blog, Robin's Creative Cottage, for more creative ideas. You'll find these stamp sets and metal dies over at my craft spot. Have a great day, everyone.